Hold on, I got all kinds of things happening.
So if you go to the microphone.
But it's going.
It's on right now.
Oh,
Audio setting. Oh, leave computer audio completely.
You're gonna hear you quite clearly. Very clear. If I can say, hey Jackie, can you hear me? Hey Jackie, can you hear us?
Hey. How are you guys?
Good. So this is your volume. For that.
okay. Oh, there's, okay.
You want me to stay? You want me to go? You can text me if you need me.
Okay, I'll text you.
I just don't want to make you nervous.
Yeah. There's that. Now, when I go to the screen, make sure I'm doing this right
You'll start the slideshow.
from the beginning, and then those three
Well,
little dots.
Actually. No, escape.
But how do
First, go to your Zoom.
Zoom?
You gotta share your screen first. And then pick what you want. Yeah,
Okay.
and then you can do share slideshow. Or start from beginning,
Oh, okay.
whatever it is.
Where do you get the Brief Center?
Oh,
There it is.
there you go. There you go.
I gotta move my people so I can read it.
And what you can do, I don't know if you want to see the people all the time, but you can do the one box that just shows whoever's gonna speak
Okay.
versus the whole gallery.
Jackie, what office are you in?
Arvada.
Okay. Do you need last names on here?
Most of the OCAs will know who they are or whoever,
Okay.
and who's been attending the whole time.
Okay. Jackie, I might give people a few more minutes if you're okay with that. Because otherwise it's just you and me.
Oh, Diane's not on either?
I don't see anybody else on.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. And I can also go back to the YouTube later. So you don't have to, waste 4 hours.
Right.
Oh, there's Diane.
Okay. Is Diane from Arvada too?
She is.
Okay. Hi, Diane.
Hello.
Diane, you're not related to Cindy, are you?
I do. Cindy Sheriff. My belated sister-in-law was named Cindy Sheriff. Yes,
Oh,
that's
does
the
she live
only.
up here?
Say again?
Does she live up here?
No, she passed away a few years ago. She lived in Dallas.
Oh, I missed what you said. Nope, different Cindy.
I didn't think it was that popular of a name, but in this area, there's lots of them.
Yeah.
So. Why can't I get to?
Hi. Yes. For me?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Oh,
with me.
it is?
Mhm.
I'm the only one?
No, well, I've got Jackie and Diane on Zoom.
Good. I forgot your name, Sandy.
Sandy,
And what's your name?
Brianne.
Oh, Brianne. I met you, I think, at the
I
other
think we met one time.
watch party.
Yeah, when Sally taught.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was like, I know that. And you're out of this office, right, Sandy?
Evergreen.
Okay.
I guess it's all connected.
17.
Jody said Sandy will show up in person. I was like, yay.
Darn it. Where's everybody?
How many do we have?
Let's see, 1, 2, 3, and who's my friend MCW?
Mark Wilcoxon.
Mark?
Yes.
Hi, Mark.
Oh, hey, Mark.
Hello.
Mark, are you with Arvada too?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Well, thanks for not leaving me all alone today.
Where is Zoom? Ah, there's Zoom again.
Just give it a couple more minutes.
Hey, Becky.
Morning.
How you doing? How's it going?
Well, better. I
Hi, Becky.
was completely shut down yesterday.
No, no.
Hey, what happened?
Phone, internet, everything.
Oh,
It was terrible.
so how's the contracts coming?
Well, okay, so my seller doesn't want to do anything.
Say again?
No, let me be. We're all in this together.
Sandra. Nice to meet you, Sandy.
Oh, hi, Sandy.
Nice to meet Sandra. Really. Sandra.
It's got a U in it.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's pretty.
you, okay.
Very pretty.
Hi, Sandra, I'm Brianne.
Brianne?
Yes.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
So what were you saying, Becky? Did you get it under contract?
So the seller wants to wait till spring.
Hi,
Plus,
and
I got I got COVID and had to isolate, so that kind of set me back.
Oh,
Did I miss any?
doggone it.
I know. My buyer decided to ghost me, so I don't know what happened there.
Buyers.
I guess. I don't know.
Oh, man. Well, maybe they just needed to take a week off. I'll keep my fingers crossed for you, okay?
Well, I mean, it went under contract. That house that they wanted went under contract, so
Oh, well.
it was a cool house.
Anything else exciting going? Who is KWPC 2021?
That's here in the
Oh.
office, so that everyone can see everyone on the big screen.
Okay, there we go. I was like, that doesn't.
All right. I think we'll get started. And people who are late can jump in. So my name is Brianne Smith. I am usually out of the conifer office. You'll see me in Evergreen every now and then, but I have been here, oh my gosh, almost 5 years now, and 5 years in real estate. I've got 3 kiddos that keep me pretty busy. A freshman in high school, an 8th grader, and a 5th grader. So real estate was kind of the most conducive career for our family when my youngest was in kindergarten. So I came from medical background. I used to work at Littleton Adventist Emergency Department, and it was either do I finish my nursing degree or do I do something where I'm home for the kiddos? So that's how I wound up in real estate. I always enjoyed it, like, you know, stocking houses in my free time. And, but really I've kind of described it as it's a lot like nursing, or in a way, or medical, because the ER is very diverse. Things are always happening. It's different every day. So you never really know what you're walking into. And sometimes real estate can be the same way. Got to be creative in how you handle situations. And you are also a little bit of a therapist for your clients if you already haven't realized that. So it's kind of similar, but it does, because you make your own hours. Well, you should be, if you've listened to anything that Kevin has said. So it's a good way to still be present for your family. So that's a little bit about me. Real quick, I don't mind if you guys are unmuted. I think that's almost better. So we can just all treat this as if you're here in person and just talk when you want. That's totally fine with me. That's what I prefer. So real quick, Jackie, when did you start?
I got my license, I believe, early August.
Okay, perfect. And are you from Colorado?
Yes,
Okay,
I'm in Broomfield.
you're where?
I live in Broomfield.
Oh, okay. Perfect. Diana?
License in July. And I am from Texas and have been in Colorado. This month will make it a year.
Oh, nice. Welcome.
Thank you.
And Mark, how'd you get into real estate?
I got my real estate license about 2 years ago. Spent the last year and a half being an attorney agent with Redfin, and came over to Keller Williams in August. I'm out of Summit County.
Okay, nice. So you're a bit of distance away too.
Yes, live in Keystone, but service Summit, Park, and Lake counties. Try to go down there
Okay.
about once a week.
Nice. Oh, I have Brandon here. Becky, how about you?
Hi, I got my license, I think September. I can't even remember, but anyway, sometime in September. And retired engineer from Texas.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Didn't know that. You're from Texas as well, Becky?
Yeah.
Let's see, do I have a Diane and a Diana then?
Yes.
Okay, because I crossed out what I wrote before. Yeah, that's funny. What about you, Diane?
Got my license late June, started with Keller Williams immediately after that. So, been in Colorado for 28 years, 29 years, and I'm from Texas as well.
Okay. Brandon, are you there?
Yeah, I got my license in 2019. I was full-time working in aerospace until just July of this year. And although I don't say I am from Texas, I did live there for about 25 years minus a lot of trips in between. So too many Texans in this meeting is what I think.
Okay. Brandon, what office are you particularly out of?
The Old Town Arvada.
Okay. Sandy.
I'm
that you?
Sandy Pennell. I'm from Idaho Springs. We've been in the rental business. We have tenants and stuff since I married my husband in 1990. So I just thought it would be a good thing to get into and maybe sell some of our stuff. We
Yeah.
start thinking about retiring and help our kids get a new home or whatever. So, help friends.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
What about you, Sandra?
Let's see, I got my license October 4th.
Hey, that's my birthday. That's a
Oh,
good
is it?
day.
Wow, happy birthday, happy birthday. And I've been in California. I've been in Colorado off and on for 20 years and back and forth to the Bay Area a lot. I just retired from medical device regulatory.
Okay.
Yeah, just just like you, was like all of us, I'm sure, stocked houses, been very curious for my whole adult life. Well, what would that look like? So in retirement, and go take a look.
Yeah.
That's my story.
Good. Okay. Well, I know you guys have gone through that spiel a bunch of times. I haven't really had a chance to see any of you guys in person or do this type of situation. So I appreciate you just giving me a little introduction. I lost all my people. Hold on, bear with me. I bet you guys can see. There we go. So this is making and receiving offers. We're supposed to be here till 1 o'clock, which I find, I don't know if I can come up with that much to talk about. So we might. Yeah, I'm absolutely willing to help you with other things if you have questions once we get through all this. Oh, so somebody needs to turn me off on their end. Is that you, Sandy?
It's me.
So if you have questions with, hold on, it's happening again. Am I still echoing? No. With any other thing as a new agent, I definitely remember what it's like to be a new agent. And I was just searching for anyone I could find that would be willing to help me along the way. So, you know, Jody's available, Kevin's available, but he's available in very short, brief, you know, you better know what you want to say. And, you know, and say it quickly, and he's gonna give you an answer, but it's gonna be quick. So I am here for you guys if you want to talk about other things after we get through this. And I don't know, I kind of feel like you can make your calls on your own. I'm not so sure I have to sit here and while you do that process, but we can talk about that stuff too. So moving along, our belief system. Sandy, you want to read our belief system?
Sure.
Okay.
Win-win or no deal, integrity, do the right thing, customers always come first, commitment in all things, communication, seek first to understand, creativity, ideas before results, teamwork, together everyone achieves more, trust starts with honesty, equity, opportunities for all, success results through people.
So how do these beliefs, how does applying these beliefs to everything you do affect your mindset? How do you see yourself using the belief system as you talk to your clients? Do you find in the calls that you've made already that you're kind of incorporating these things in your conversations? You can answer, yeah, okay. Let's see. I found communication is probably the biggest thing that your clients are looking for. And the transactions I've dealt with, that's their number one thing, is they just want somebody who's kind of gonna hold their hand, communicate every step of the way, not leave you hanging. You know, now that we're in a market where we're not selling a home in 48 hours or even, 24 really, they want to know what's going on with my house. So do you check in with them, weekly, every 2 weeks? That's something they just want to be in the loop of. Okay, so we'll today go over the offer process, preparing the offer, writing it, presenting, receiving and responding, and then just any ahas that you have. We'll talk about your daily success system as far as, making your calls and what that looks like for lead generation. Because it might look different for everyone. Not everyone is going to want to call. Sometimes it's handwritten notes, sometimes it's social media, and then or a combination of the three. All right. So by the end of this, you should know how to communicate with your buyers, sellers, or co-agent during the offer process. This will help you understand the best practices for making and receiving offers in your particular market. And we'll probably do a little breakout sessions, just 5-minute conversations, and do a little role play too. Does anyone have any transactions going on right now? Oh, I lost all my video. Where'd you guys go?
Oh, I'm stuffing my face and I didn't want to slurp.
Kara,
noodle.
I'd rather
So.
see you stuff your face.
All right, well then here we go, guys.
Okay, so when it comes to making and receiving offers, it's about graceful and win-win negotiation. I like to think of sales as the ability to gracefully persuade, not manipulate, a person or persons into a win-win situation.
Yeah.
I think that's I like that word, persuade, because it's very easy for a client to feel manipulated. And so if you can have that off at the beginning, it's a lot better. All right. So who has CTM already? Do you know what I mean when I say CTM software?
Yep.
No, Sandy, hold on, let me get my people back. Becky has it. Jackie, do you have CTM yet?
No.
No, Diana?
No.
No. Brandon does. I think, did you give me a thumbs up there, Brandon? That was cool.
Oh, yeah, that's okay.
Okay. So even if you don't have any business going on right now, I would encourage you to get CTM so you can learn the software. The last thing you want to be worrying about when you do have to write or receive an offer is scrambling to get that software and then learning it. It is frightening. And then when you go to ask Jody for help and she's like, okay, log into CTM. And you're like, what? Then it's a snowball effect. So CTM costs about $28 a month. You can pay for it all up front and get a little bit of a discount for the year. But there's also regular trainings that they have for this software. And it's really easy to use once you're in there. But the last thing you want to worry about is being in a panic and trying to deal with your client. And you don't want to come off like a rookie, right, with your client. So get this software as soon as possible. And again, I will give all of you my number right now. If you need help, you can call me because Jody's not always available. Kevin, Kevin's certainly not going to walk you through CTM, and Jody's busy enough. So it is 303-328-5702. And if you run into a snag, can't get a hold of anybody, you can give me a call. Happy to help you. Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
it's good to have those people around when you want to cry. No, I'm kidding.
There'll be lots of tears.
Oh, no tears, because your clients will be crying. All right. Hide my thumbnail here. Okay, so here's the offer process. This training kind of goes back and forth between buyer agent and selling agent or listing agent. So let me know if you're confused. I thought it would kind of go through one and then the other, but it tends to go back and forth. So offer process, the buyer makes an offer. The seller will respond typically in one of three ways. They can either counter, accept, or reject. I've never had a listing agent just straight up reject an offer as of yet. So there's usually some room for negotiation in your offer, unless it's, well, if you get this client who thinks they know more than you do, but they've hired you anyway, but they think I'm gonna offer, $200,000 less, and we'll just like see what happens, right? So that might be an instance of, not really even getting a chance to counter or anything like that. But typically these are the steps. And then if they accept it, great, that's so easy. You just keep moving on to the contract to close process. And so where it says buyer agent contacts listing agent to learn more, don't assume no means no. Ask if they'd be willing to accept a backup offer. Ask, is there anything that would, change your client's mind? Are you really serious about the offer you have in hand? Have they put down earnest money yet? Would that help? So there's all these things in conversation that you can bring into that. Let's see. This is also in your participant guide. Does everyone have that guide? Yeah, somewhere. It's just, in Ignite land. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, what emotions do you think buyers and sellers have at this stage of the process? You can just blurt them out.
Anxiety.
Yeah, tons of it.
Which is,
Until the offer is accepted, I think they're in that state of anxiety.
anxiety, okay.
Maybe a little bit
Anything
of
else?
excitement too.
Right, okay. So obviously, when I talked about being kind of a therapist for your clients, that's kind of where you come in here. When emotions run hot for others, it's our job to remain professional, keep it all together. We kind of have to remove ourselves from it and remember it's not our purchase or our sale, and just serve them and being calm, reassuring, in control. And this is where having a coach really benefits you, because Jody's going to keep you in control, which in turn will help you keep your clients in control, because they don't know you're necessarily new, right? They don't know you've been doing this since October 4th, you know? And I used to worry about that when I first started. I'm like, surely they're going to ask me how long I've been doing this. And no one ever has to this day, which is so shocking to me. But you do want to come off confident and like, you know what the heck you're talking about. So when you're not busy, when you don't have contracts to worry about, take as many classes as you can and just be savvy. Little plug on CMAS. Does everyone know what CMAS is?
No.
So that is your certification for mountain area specialist.
Oh, okay. That wouldn't.
Okay, so you're a certified mountain area specialist. They do classes through Mamar. But that is a really great way to just get yourself educated while you're not busy with clients. And in the meantime, get that certification, especially if you're up here in the mountains. You know, if you're in Arvada and you'd rather stick to Arvada or the Denver metro area, but you're like, hey, I have a bunch of friends in Evergreen and Conifer, I'm going to send them, you know, to an agent who has that already under their belt. And let's see. Okay. So it's also really important to obviously keep that communication going with your clients in a timely manner. So what are the rules for how quickly you must provide them with contracts and other documents? Do you have to electronically sign documents as soon as you receive them to mark them as received? You know, some clients aren't real savvy with e-signing. Do you have to make time to meet them in person and have them wet sign? I've had to do that with a few of my more elderly clients. And so just make sure that you have time for that. What should you, let's see.
So are you needing us to see slides on what you're saying? Because we're still at the big process, the offer process, the slides. Is that what we're supposed to be looking at?
Yeah, we're
Go to-
still on this
It's
one.
on page 263.
What's that?
Page 63? Okay.
No, sorry.
Oh, I don't
259.
know what your book looks like.
It's only available electronically. Somebody on there help me get it.
What's your question, Sandra?
No, I thought you were speaking to some details that I could read off the slide.
Oh,
But you
no,
are not.
I'm just
Okay.
trying to fill time. Yeah. I'm just talking right now. Let's see. So has everyone been through the process of purchasing their home themselves?
Nope.
Because sometimes that helps to kind of share your story with your clients as far as being empathetic with them, like, hey, I've been through this, you know, I know how stressful it is. You know, my husband and I bought a new house in 2020, and I told him I will never, ever represent him again in a transaction. No, it was just very stressful when you're trying to do it yourself. So you can, you know, share stories like that with their clients. I've always found that that helps too, as far as putting yourself in their shoes. Let's see. Okay, what documents should we have already completed before you're writing any kind of offer, if you are the buyer's agent?
Exclusive right to buy,
What, Becky?
the exclusive right to buy
Yeah,
contract
what? Mm-hmm,
and the buyer.
that's one.
And
Buyer
pre-approval,
advisory?
Yeah.
What did you say, Mark?
proof of funds, bank, pre-approval for your loan.
Okay, yep, that's great. And there's one more, I don't know if I heard you guys say it. Brokerage disclosure to buyer.
Oh,
Okay, if you forget where any of these are, they're in command. How much time have you guys spent in command to find this stuff? As far as what Kevin or your, well, yeah, everyone's gonna be reporting to Kevin, correct? Do some of you report to your coach?
Well, you're gonna have to explain report to, because I don't know. Jody is who
Yeah.
has been my primary contact. I've never met Kevin. I
Okay,
keep coming across things that say what you can call or forge or contract to Kevin, but first go to Jody. So I don't know
okay.
the answer to your question.
So when you meet Kevin, you'll be sending him, all of you should be sending him your contracts to review. So he's gonna go through all of that, tell you what to change, fix, whatever. More importantly, real quick, is he offers a contract class that you should definitely go to. I've been to it at least 4 or 5 times.
You know, it'd be helpful if you would tell us when that is, because I'm pouring through the calendar and not really finding it.
He
quick
usually
and
does
dirty to
it
figure this
twice
out.
a year. And I think, if I remember, he usually does one in November, but we can talk to Val or Jody and see when the next one is. But that is, I literally have a binder dedicated to the contract, and it has every single note he's ever said about writing an offer. And that's what I use every time I write an offer, still to this day. It used to take me an hour and a half to write an offer, and now I can do it in about, 30 minutes. So it's your cheat sheet, it's your go-to. You're more than happy, or you're more than welcome to look at it and before you leave, since you guys are in person, but that is going to be your lifeline away from Kevin.
Or Bible.
Yeah, it's kind of your Bible. So let's see. So in Command, it lists these documents that you're going to need, because if you are writing a contract without having an agreement with your clients, that's not a good thing.
So where exactly in Command is it? Because my question that I've had from earlier, I'm with Summit Association of Realtors, and the CTM is built straight into the Matrix website for SAR. I go in there. Do I use the first buyer exclusive right? The buyer agreement. There's one that's on the top that shows Keller Williams Avenues, and then below there's all the DORA documents. Which ones do we use?
You should be using the branded KW one.
Okay, so as long as
Yeah.
it says Avenues, and I pulled up those, and I just pulled up the broker's disclosure, and it shows Keller Williams Avenues. It's like a 2-page contract.
Yep.
And so
And that,
when I'm in that CTM software, can I just print off that contract blank, like if I'm going to take it to one of my clients, or do you have to fill it all in all the digital? It wants you to fill in stuff like put name. Which
Yeah.
way do you do it?
you can do both. If you know who you're working with up front, and you can fill in their legal name on the computer, you can do it that way. There's also, has anyone helped you set up your signature within CTM so that
No, I
it's
just have the doc-
automatically?
So I
What's
need to
that?
set that up in CTM. I need to set up in CTM, not use DocuSign, because what I do is I linked it to DocuSign.
Yeah, back in the day, they had us sign something and then email it to CTM, and then they would incorporate it into our contract. So when you provide a contract for any client, your signature is already there, and so the document's already signed by you. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Yep, I'm checking it right now. Trying
Okay.
to see where that's
You
all.
might have to go to PDF view,
Okay,
and then that's the only way to see if a client has signed a contract as well, is in your PDF view.
okay, cool.
Is it there?
I'm looking for it right now.
Okay. And so if you haven't seen it in Command, you're gonna go log into the KW intranet, go to Command. And then that'll take you to opportunities. Is this foreign to everyone, or are you
That's
following?
good.
Okay. I kind of have you guys minimized, so I couldn't see if you were
So
following
when-
along, but so just
So when we're
yell out.
in, so we're in Command in opportunity, do we then create an opportunity to fetch these, or how do we access them? Because I just see listing buyers leases.
So what you have to do through CTM is create everything. You can even do a practice run, and if you want to do that at the end of this, we can probably go through that. But you're going to create your client's profile in CTM. Once they sign, you're going to save all those documents as a PDF, and then you're going to upload them to your opportunity in Command.
Gotcha.
You can't do that though unless you do what with your client? The very first step you should be doing in Command. You have to add them as a
Lead.
contact first. Okay. or you won't be able to create an opportunity. Okay. Any ahas at this point?
So I did have a question.
Okay.
So doesn't CTM send you an email or something if they sign?
Yes, it automatically should send to you. I would just make sure that it's coming through. Sometimes it'll go to a different tab, like updates or something. So you just want to make sure that you're getting it. I would even, you can create something and send it to a family member or a friend and say, hey, can you help me run through this and just be my trial client and make sure I'm receiving things as I should.
Huh, interesting.
And there's also help videos for your clients. Some clients, they just can't figure it out. I've had that happen, but there's help videos literally in the email that walk them through how to e-sign as well. Any other questions on that right now? Okay, so preparing your offer. There's nothing worse than going to write an offer on something and you spend all this time and effort going through it, and then the next time you look at the property, it's showing pending. So if you go out, see a property, your clients love it, you know, when you saw it, it was active, but things can change rapidly in that time, right? A good listing agent is going to allow showings no matter what until it's truly under contract. So I would just kind of make sure it's still showing active. If you know you're going to be writing an offer, then I would give that agent a call. And again, back to communication, right? So not only are you communicating with your clients all the time, but I have won several contracts just based on communication. We weren't the highest offer. And it was literally because the agent said, I want to work with you. You answer your phone, you respond to text, you called me and told me what was going on. The information you gave me was accurate. You know, you're not blowing smoke. And so that's a big deal when you're communicating with that other agent. So make sure the property is still available, build that rapport with the listing agent, ask them about the activity. You know, do you have a lot of showings? Do you have an open house this weekend? You'd be able to see that in the MLS too, if you're paying attention.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
I think it was Becky that sent me the participation guide when I was at my home computer.
Okay.
And you didn't know there was a participation guide. So I'd love to follow along. Does everybody but us have this?
I
don't think
Or do
anyone
you
is.
already have it? Oh, see, you're looking through the Zoom meeting. That's how you're capturing.
Yeah,
What are you not?
I just want to capture that. I don't want to have to.
well, you can go.
Oh,
to
it's
it, though.
all in here. So you
In
need
the participation guide?
this slideshow, is that what you're asking about?
Yes.
Is on Ignite through KW. So you'll be able to have all of this.
Oh. Didn't know.
That's okay. I'll show you.
Okay, thanks.
I don't know if I can.
Because this is a nice checklist.
Oh, yeah. And I don't know if you'd be able to print it off or not.
It's on the Ignite PDF. I can give you the page number if you want. It just
I don't
looks a
think
little
The
bit.
Ignite PDF?
Yeah, and
Didn't know
Ignite
there
page
was one of those.
260.
Sorry,
It has
say
the
again?
same. On page 260 of the Ignite PDF, you'll see this. It's just in a different format. It's like with a checklist, but it's exactly what you see on the Zoom screen.
Okay, is the Ignite PDF the same as the participation guide?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
it's just in a
Thank
digital
you.
format, so you can scan, you can scroll and get to stuff quicker. So go to page
Oh,
260
we
on that, and you'll see the
okay.
checklist.
We really
We-
should know how to do that.
Okay, I wasn't aware
That's
you
mystery.
didn't know.
I did
Mystery
look,
to me.
I did
Okay.
look at it.
Can you guys, I don't want to leave my screen right now.
You
Can
can do it
you?
at your break or something.
Yeah, let's try that. Okay. Let's see. So inquire about activity. Ask about if there's any other offers on the property. You know, usually the agents are pretty forthcoming with that information. So ask as much as you can. If there's several offers, do you need to come in with your highest and best? What would make an attractive contract for your seller? All these things. Also, comb through the MLS. There's a little supplements tab on the MLS. Is everyone familiar with this? It looks like a stack of papers. Yes, no?
No.
Okay, that is going to give you a lot of information pertaining to that property if the listing agent is being thorough and doing a good job. So things that you can find in there are septic information. That would be the size of the septic, or how many people it's rated for. A lot of times people upload a seller's property disclosure. So if you're looking at a fixer-upper and they have that uploaded already, that's going to be huge for your clients to kind of determine how they want to offer, right? Is the list price fair for the condition of the property? Other things you would find in there are ILCs. An ILC is that improvement location certificate. It's like a watered down version of a survey is how I like to describe it. Other things that could be important to your buyer are easements. Is the neighbor going to be tromping through your property on a weekly basis? They kind of want to know that up front, because that could be a deal breaker. So always check and see if there's supplements, because going back to that communication with the listing agent, there's nothing a listing agent hates more is when you're asking them a ton of questions and all the information is already there for you. So sometimes I will say to a listing agent, like, hey, I was combing through the supplements, or hey, I noticed there weren't any supplements. Do you have information on XYZ? And so that way, they know, like, yes, I've acknowledged the supplements and I didn't find what I was looking for, or hey, you don't have anything at all. And then typically that lets them know, like, you're paying attention, you're serious about what you're doing, and you know what you're doing. Ask what's motivating to the seller. Do they need a post-closing occupancy agreement? Okay, would it help if they increased, earnest money? The market's a little different than it was. So some tactics people were doing before, when it was really competitive and busy, was, hey, we'll make earnest money go hard. Does everyone know what that means?
No.
That means you will not get it back no matter what. So if
okay. Makes sense.
yeah. So there's a period, in the contract itself where that takes place, but that's usually towards the end of the whole transaction. But sometimes that's attractive to a seller. Like, hey, we're going to give you $10,000 right up front. We're not going to get it back. This is how serious we are about the property. We are moving forward. We want to close. So little things like that you can ask the listing agent. Ask them how they want to receive the offer. Do they want it through CTM? Some agents don't use CTM. I haven't run across very many of them. CTM is probably the most convenient and easy way to submit offers, but they might just want it emailed. So just ask them.
So what do people use other than CTM? They just go to Dora and download the forms and just write it up in email? What do they do?
Yeah. And again, I haven't seen it much. I've only run across one agent who did that. And it was kind of I was a listing agent on that property where this happened. And it was is very disorganized. They were hard to work with. Luckily I had multiple offers, so I wasn't stuck working with that person, but it kind of just set the tone of, this is what it's going to be like if we, work with this person, because it just was very disorganized. But most people do use CTM.
Other people I've seen DocuSign.
Okay, and they just use the Dora forms and create their own?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, Taylor.
Hi.
Welcome.
It was a little late. I had an early morning meeting.
That's okay. All right, let's see.
So I just want to say,
Mark?
CPM,
Oh.
CPM is really, like the website, from a technical perspective, the website is like, it is web 1.0. It is very, very basic, but it's so functional, and their technical support is excellent. If you email them a question, they'll give you an answer in like 20 minutes.
Are you talking about CTM?
Yeah.
Yeah, they are pretty great. They will fix anything right away as long as you're within those hours.
Oh,
And,
that's nice.
and very rarely are they unavailable, so it's good. Like Mark mentioned, make sure you have your pre-approval for your buyer. There's nothing worse than submitting an offer and you didn't upload your pre-approval lender letter, and then that makes you look kind of like an idiot or a rookie. So make sure that you have that. A lot of times, if you have a good relationship with that lender, say you put an offer in on another contract, and you didn't get it, but you still have that lender letter and nothing's changed. What you can usually do is just change the address in that lender letter. That's another good point. Don't ever send a lender letter with the wrong address. So as a listing agent, I've received that where they were offering on a property and the lender letter had a totally different address.
You know, I thought though, is the lender letter, the evidence of pre-approval,
Yes.
I thought they were more generic, they're address specific.
If you're working with a lender who is on top of it, you have a good relationship with them, they communicate with you any time of the week, they're not just available Monday through Friday, you should be able to get a very specific pre-approval letter, not pre-qualification, pre-approval, where they know this is what they can afford.
Address specific, and I need that in my hands when I submit the offer.
Yep, you're
and
gonna
I send
submit it
with the offer.
together. Yep, your lender
I
letter.
know that.
And your contract together. Because if I'm a listing agent, I receive a contract that I have no lender letter, I'm not gonna think you're very serious,
Okay,
right?
address specific.
And then your lender, whoever you work with or have a relationship with, if they've been in the business a while, they'll know that, you need to have the address stated in that
It's
pre-approval
interesting.
letter.
Haven't I seen people put in offers at 7 and 8 at night?
You have? What do you mean?
I've watched that happen. So someone makes an offer, they go, they view, they go, "Oh, okay, yeah, I thought about it, we talked about it at dinner. I really want to make an offer on that property. It's 9 at night.
So here's what I do. I call up my lender. I say, hey, so-and-so, my clients and I are headed to see 123 Main Street. They think they love it already. So can you just throw together a letter for me in the event that they want to put an offer on? And they're like, yep, send it right then. Because it's very easy for them to just send it.
But they may not know. I mean, I'm just, in real life.
Who may not know? Your clients?
Right.
If they
So
want
you
to
show them 3 houses.
Uh-huh.
And over dinner, they call and they go, you know what, we really want to go with this.
Mhm.
Now it's the evening. I guess it's not
Yeah.
so competitive right now, but 6 months ago, it really
Yeah.
mattered. How odd, I just didn't know. So I'm not gonna contact my lender at night, so.
Nope, so I just give them a heads up, before you head out to see property, like, we're gonna see these 3, they're really excited about them. This one, I think they might be willing to go in on.
Oh.
Can you send me over a lender letter? And are you okay if I change the address? Because they'll allow you to edit
Oh.
the address.
Okay.
But it's still the same letter. That's what I've done before, or again, circling back to that communication piece with everyone involved in the transaction. I'm necessarily not going to be submitting an offer to an agent at 9 o'clock anyway, but I'm going to text that agent and say, hey, my people are really interested in this. I'm not going to bother you with getting you an offer this late at night. Please look for it from me in the morning, but I just wanted to let you know that one is on its way. And you know what, if your client changes
it.
their mind and they're like, no, we slept on it and we don't want to do it, that's a
No harm
much
done.
easier conversation to have with the listing agent.
Thank you.
Than keeping it a surprise, right?
I didn't know that. Thank you.
Yeah, and that lets them know, because maybe they already have an offer in hand.
Yeah.
And they're willing to wait to respond to that because they know they have another one coming in. It really, yeah, just
Yeah.
keep all the lines open for communicating with that one.
Interesting.
Let's see. Reviewing the MLS and tax records, producing a comparative market analysis. So I think we'll have time to get back to that. It used to be you didn't really have time to always check into your CMA. So you either want to really know the area that you're looking at homes, and kind of be aware, like, hey, is this a reasonable price already? Or do I not really know the area? And should I look up a few other solds in the area and compare real quick? But you definitely be able, because they're going to ask you, your clients, is this a good deal? Should we jump on this? Do you think the value's there in this home? So you need to be able to talk about that. Are there upgrades to the property? Are there special things there besides a home? Is it horse property with a barn and fencing, and or is it just a large house on a tiny acre? So you need to see where the price difference is coming from. Is it coming from outbuildings and fencing, or is it literally just tied up in that square footage of the house, and that's what makes it expensive? And seller's disclosure statement, I'm assuming they're talking about the SPD there, that seller's property disclosure. It's just worded a little differently. You can ask for that if you're really worried about things on a property. Like, I don't know, say you find mold or something. You can certainly ask for that, because just showing that to your clients, they might say, no, there's too much here. There's, or it's blank, right? No, there's something going on with this house, and they probably know about it. So that might be a reason for them to just not want to offer either. Okay. So real quick, we're going to pair up, or we can just all talk together. I'm fine with that. What do you think is important to a seller?
A very clean offer with no contingencies.
Okay.
I mean, I think like a very clean offer is important, but I also think like in the market we're in right now, I don't think people are opposed to contingencies, because since things have slowed down, people are like also looking for a home as well. So they may, like in most cases, if they're selling to downsize or to even find a bigger home or whatever their situation is, or say they have to relocate, they're going to need time to be able to go find their home. And then I would also say that it's very important to, like you had said earlier, be highly communicative with the agent so that their clients feel like they're in constant contact and they're on the up and up.
Yeah, that's perfect. Taylor, what offers are you generally at?
So we're technically out of the avenues in Old Town Arvada. So I'm on a team with my dad, the Trum Home team. So he's Dale Trum.
Okay, awesome. What should you do if your buyer says, oh my gosh, my family, we put together this letter and we want to give it to the sellers, and there's a picture of our family and we just love it so much and we're hoping they'll pick us because we're a family and we just want to win this house. It's perfect for us. Give this letter to the seller and the listing agent with our offer. What do you do then? These are also known as love letters.
Love letters. I'm sure it's okay to give it to the listing agent, but I don't think it's going to make it to the seller, because I think most listing agents would stop it. They'll take it, but they won't. pass it on.
Yeah. You'd be surprised. You really shouldn't give it at all. And in fact, talk them out of submitting any kind of love letter and explain why. So it's against the Fair Housing Act. And it can, what if it can give away information about the buyer that maybe the seller doesn't like, and it can be something as simple or silly as, oh, I don't know, send you upload this picture and there's,
Two blonde kids and a redhead.
yeah, it just reveals information about them that's protecting them to begin with. So, I haven't found that a lot of people like receiving those anyway. It makes it hard because they just want to mostly keep it business. Some people get caught up in the emotion of it. And, it's really important to the seller that literally a family moves in here, but you can't, that's steering. You can't really do that. And just explain to them.
Yeah.
And most people are okay with it.
I've
And just,
even seen like my dad when things were really crazy put in his like on the MLS like no love letters in the private remarks so that people don't
yes.
do that.
Yeah, and you brought up a really good point, Taylor, that I wanted to touch on too. Not only in the MLS are there supplements, but there are confidential remarks. Make sure you read them. The listing agent put them there for a reason, to communicate with you specifically. So again, that's another place you can find information without having to look silly and asking questions that are already answered in the MLS. Because it just shows, again, to that agent, if you're paying attention to all those things, you're going to be attractive to work with, right?
And two, if you know how to work this system, essentially, they're going to be more apt to want to work with you because then you're quicker at like the correspondence piece of it all.
Right. Taylor, you want to teach class? You got good stuff.
I'm okay trying to quit.
Okay, I just had to make my notes. Don't wait to get lender approval letter until the last minute. We talked about that. Any ahas for this section? I love the aha thing. It's so weird.
Maybe not an aha, but a question. So, we're all newbies here. Someday we'll all be super experienced and successful in Ridge. How do you, like, when you recognize that you're dealing with a rookie, like, how do you deal with that? Like, how do you deal with them?
Dealing with a what?
Dealing with a rookie on the other end.
Oh,
I had a few really good mentors from this office, and they've always pitched it as you lift that agent up, right? We're all kind of a family, and if you're decent to that agent, they're going to recognize it, and they're going to be grateful, and they're going to take what you help them with and take it to the next transaction and be better for it. But you're going to always have that good relationship. And would say it's an agent in the city, and they're like, gosh, Brianne, that agent in the mountains, knew what she was talking about. She helped me so much. She didn't treat me like an idiot, even though there were some things that I probably could have done better. And I'm going to refer her to my client who wants to live in the mountains. So it's a small enough world that, you kind of just want to treat people decently, no matter how frustrating it can be. A lot of the times you'll be able to tell the difference between lazy and rookie. And even lazy, you can gently coerce them into actually doing the work that they're responsible for. But I think that rookie agent will stand out. And if it were you, I guess kind of put themselves, would you want a veteran agent to kind of guide you along? Because at the end of the day, everyone's trying to get to the closing table, right? So, and sometimes you got to pick up the slack somewhere.
so maybe you just guess, this must be a rookie because he didn't read the confidential comments. He didn't read the documents.
Or they're lazy. There's a lot of lazy ones too, but My favorite is, I got this so much in the beginning, still do, for whatever reason, an agent who's been in the business 20+ years feels the need to tell you that they've been in the business 20+ years. You know, and I'm like, great, now I expect way more from you. So if I don't get it, now you're just lazy to me. You know, so it's that intimidation factor that you'll run across, and I just, oh, that's so great, you know, and move on. Like, I don't feel the need to tell anyone how long I've been in the business. It just makes you sound like you're trying to puff up and improve yourself, in my opinion. So I don't know, don't be that guy. You know, the way you carry yourself and the way you communicate is going to show that you're professional.
And to another thing I just thought about is, if you really want to be, I'll call it resourceful, if you're skeptical that somebody's new, you can like look up like how many deals they've done in like the most recent year to see like how new or not they are, if like it's really a huge concern to you, without having to ask, or like kind of, because I feel like sometimes like for some people they're afraid to admit they're new, so it might just be kind of like, oh, I don't want to admit it, even though in reality it's okay to be new and learn and all those different things. And another thing that like I've kind of experienced is like what my dad, I've watched him do this over the years, and like what he's even told me is like, don't be afraid to ask people, like go to your mentor, and like your mentor or like even your brokerage manager will help guide you through the process, if you know, that way it's as seamless as it can be.
Right. And that's exactly what Kevin's for, what Jody's for. Margaret is in Arvada, correct? No. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, I lost my train of thought real quick. But don't also be that agent that tells people, oh, this is my first transaction. Don't do that, because some agents won't be nice and they will take advantage of you. Because it'd be easy, you know, you don't know what you don't know. And when you say that to the world, then, I mean, all they're trying to do is take care of their client too. So just, you know, be professional and be confident in yourself, and it'll just be fine. And if you have some questions, you know, let me look into that. I was going to check on that, and I need to look into one more resource before I give you that answer. And then you call Jody and you cry. No, I'm kidding. All right. Okay, now we're getting to writing an offer. So cover the write an offer checklist. Be sure to add in any pertinent information for your market. An example of that pertinent information in the mountains is, for one, septics. Kevin's going to talk to you to death about septics and the information you need regarding that, and the clauses that you'll need and additional provisions. This will all make sense, Sandra, when you go through the contract class. And just another reiteration of, don't submit love letters with your offers. And NAR considers them liability letters. But again, you're not wanting to reveal characteristics about the buyer that fall into categories like religion, race, familial status, because those are all protected under fair housing. Stick to the pertinent objective criteria when submitting an offer as a buyer's agent or presenting it as a seller's agent. So what are the price and terms? These are what your seller should be using to make their decision. And make sure your buyer understands the full contract. I don't know how many of you have gone on any appointments, whether it's a listing or a buyer's appointment, but I have taken several hard copies of the 17-page contract and handed it to a buyer and said, this is what it's going to look like. You know, comb through it now on paper, because it's going to be very overwhelming when you're trying to look at it on the screen. And a lot of my clients have really liked that. It's just, you know, and if they don't want to read it, they don't have to read it, but what you're showing them is, hey, this is gonna be overwhelming potentially, you know, and if they work full-time, they have kids, they have a family. So study it a little at a time. It's pre-written already. Here are the sections where I'm gonna fill out as, you know, your agent that makes legal for me to do so. But I've had really good luck with that and feedback as far as them seeing it.
Yeah, I would have appreciated that in the past, just because it's frightening how
Yeah,
much wordage.
yeah, and they're relying on you. I mean, you should always recommend that they consult legal advice anyway, but they're relying on you to know the contract inside and out. And so hold them accountable a little bit, like they can read the same thing you are, and know what they're signing. So price and terms, seller's disclosure, any conveyances with the property. How much earnest money are they gonna put down? Are they gonna put down the full, 1 to 3%, which is what we typically do on list price? Why aren't they gonna give the full amount of earnest money if they are like, no, I'm not giving 10 grand, I'll only give 7. So have you guys looked at the contract through Dora yet? Yes. Did I lose some people? Nope. Brandon, you've been in the business since 2019. Have you written a couple of contracts?
Yeah, I've written 2 or 3.
Okay. So this makes sense as far as what we're going through. Some of you who haven't seen the
Yeah.
contracts, this is going to be hard to kind of understand, but we can look at one again when we're done with this.
I mean, it's-
Seller, oh, go ahead.
I just found it a little bit. I think for everybody that only writes onesie twosie contracts, it can be irritating because something has, since 2019, something big has changed every year. I think at one year it was the exclusions. I think since 2019, the whole inspection termination versus inspection resolution, inspection objection deadlines have changed within the standard forms. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to the day when I'm writing a contract once a month, because at least then I won't feel like I have to relearn stuff every time I write a contract.
Yeah, and here at Keller Williams, we go through that, what's it called? No, I can't think of, but
Free update.
yeah, thank you. We go through that in January, together in person and go through the whole contract about the recent changes over the last year. And so then you can see what's been blacked out or red, and again, go to Kevin's contract class because he'll talk about that every time too.
Well, that's interesting. Okay.
Time for seller acceptance. I usually do 24 hours unless there's something that requires more time, and that's what I would ask the listing agent. Hey, do they have time to look through this? Are they both in state, or are they in state period? Do you need a little bit more for acceptance and for an acceptance deadline? And the listing agent will let you know. Your financing terms, very important. It's pretty simple, straightforward math in that section of the contract, but make sure everything adds up and balances. It's kind of embarrassing when your math is off. So there's another one of those rookie mistakes, I guess. Make sure you have your pre-approval letter. Closing date. Talk this over with your buyer. Are they going to be in town in 30 to 45 days? Typical close is 30 to 45. In the last few years, we've seen 2 weeks for a closing, which is so crazy. And depending on your lender, it could be doable. That's another thing I would talk about with your lender is this even possible? Can we do this kind of closing based on their financing? Because their lender will know all that information and know if it's even something you can attain. Home warranty, that's just kind of, again, your additional provisions at the end of the contract, some creative special things that you can throw in there to make your offer a little more attractive. I haven't ever put that in there much. Some people do. Repair limits, I'm assuming they're talking about just your inspection resolution time. Some of these terms are a little different.
Oh. This is super helpful. Thank you, Mark, for telling me to just go to command and download this participation guide. This is where some of that detail. I'm so glad to find it.
We're at 10:10. Do you guys want to take like a 5-minute break?
Yes, please.
Cool. Okay, we'll see you back in 10:15-ish.
Good, I'm growling at everybody.
We can, it's okay.
No, I'm like a scatter. We should have music in the background. So I don't have to growl.
Oh,
Does anybody have any interest on partnering in an open house on Friday?
I wouldn't mind if I was not COVID positive.
Oh, yeah.
I would, but I'm scheduled for Saturday.
Okay.
Oh, you too? One of my good friends is COVID positive.
Yeah, it's
I
such
think
a,
I'm gonna
so
take the test today.
it's terrible. I mean, I might not be by Friday, but I just don't know. Where's your open house, Taylor?
It's in Arvada off like 64th and like Indiana area.
Yeah. Cool. Is it a new listing?
Yeah, it's one of my dad's clients that he's worked with for a long time. He sold a lot of real estate for her. So I was gonna try and do an open house on Friday and Saturday because I can only be there on Friday. So we were looking for obviously two people on Saturday, but then somebody to co-host with me on Friday.
Yeah. Well, that'll be fun. Somebody should do it. It's a new listing.
Oh, somebody's home, Coco.
Go feed the dog. I'm gonna watch it.
What the heck?
Can you guys hear me?
No. I heard a noise, like,
Yeah, but I don't know how to run that screen. Okay. Can everyone hear me now?
Uh-huh.
We good to go? Nope,
I guess we'll
Diane
see
says no.
there's some real bad feedback. Maybe it's me. Hang on a second.
It's like an echo.
Is that better? Nope. Stand by.
There's a live mic somewhere in the room. Not sure where it's being picked up from.
You're not? Me.
Hello? Oh, good.
Is that better?
Yep. I'm being heard through that now.
But I'm hearing myself again.
She's definitely echoing.
How did you turn it down on that thing?
Is that better?
Yes.
Yep.
Everyone can hear me?
There we go. Thank you.
Did someone say no? Yeah, good,
We can hear you and you're not echoing.
okay.
I can't speak for them.
Can Zoom land here?
I can hear you.
Okay. Oh, good.
Okay. So now we can never take a break again.
Was that Valerie?
Yes,
Okay,
that's Valerie. She's married to Kevin.
just hadn't seen her in person.
Oh, okay. All right. She's the wizard though. See her for all things. No. Okay. Getting back to all this. Make sure I didn't skip a slide. Hold on. All right, so talking through the offer with your clients, make sure you review everything with them. A lot of times they won't even read the contract, but just make sure you give them the chance to go through it with you. Put it in writing, send them an email saying, hey, you know, do you have time to go through this together? We can go through it in person if that's the type of people they are, or we can go through it over the phone or on the computer. I get all the time, that's okay, I trust you. It's like, no, I am not responsible for your, you know, this entire thing. They have to have some accountability. So if you get them, if they say, oh no, I trust you, I'll just sign it, just kind of reiterate that, put it in an email like, hey, you know, I understand you want to, you know, you're good with everything I've put together. So if you're comfortable, you can go ahead and sign, but just have it in writing if in some case something goes awry.
CYA.
Yes, yes.
And don't erase it.
Yeah, no erasing. Make sure you go over the details, price, closing date, inspection period time. Are they even going to be around for the inspection period or the inspection date? So if you guys don't have an inspector, there's certainly a list here within the office on Trello. Does everyone have the Trello vendor app? Yes, no, if not,
I don't think I've ever heard of Trello being used down in Avenues. Does anybody else know what? Is there something I'm missing?
maybe not. I mean, it certainly can be shared to Avenues. I don't see why it wouldn't, because a lot of those vendors go, they're not just mountain specific.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll have Rachel reach out to you with that, because she was the last person I know who was running it. Now that she's team leader, I'm not sure if that's still a responsibility of hers.
Okay.
But I will send her a note about that.
I use Trello for my business or my other business, but I haven't heard it being used here at Avenues. So
Okay.
that would be interesting to see.
Okay. So going back to inspection, a lot of buyers want to be there at their inspection. And if you have a good relationship with your inspector who you work with a lot, they'll usually let the buyer come towards the end of the inspection, and the inspector will walk through their entire report, the entire property at the end of the appointment. Just talking about other things as far as when you write your contracts, I always call my inspector ahead of time, before I even know if we're going to be under contract or not. And I have them pencil me in for that client, especially if the client, you know, doesn't have an inspector, doesn't have a preference. They say, you know, can you ask, you know, your guy or your person. And I've also won contracts that way of already having an inspection lined up. So get to know your vendors, your people, because at the end of the day, you're all on the same team. And when people see that you have a strong team, then they want to work with you because you're organized and you're there to get things done. Any contingencies? So if you have a house to sell, make sure that's in your contract. There's nothing worse than having that surprise. You know, the listing agent and the seller think that they're under contract, and then they're like, oh gosh, I forgot to tell you, we have a property to sell. That's really bad. So make sure that's in there. Know what is essential in your area. Again, I'm, you know, Mountain Realtor. I do cover a lot of South Metro area, but I know I keep talking about septics, but I can just think of that as being pertinent information in your contract. So, you know, in Arvada, maybe there's, I don't know, maybe you can speak to this, Diana, specific water company for certain neighborhoods. No? You're muted if you're trying to answer me. Don't know.
Is that
You're still
me?
muted. Oh, Diane or Diana.
There's only one. I don't know, how many water companies are there down here in Centennial? 4? Yeah,
Yeah,
Denver, Inglewood, Aurora.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe an HOA down there, some,
Is that covenant controlled type of thing?
well, there's covenants and then there's HOA. You can have covenants without having an HOA.
Okay.
And then up here, there's voluntary HOAs. But there's still covenants, so. Just make sure if there is an existing HOA, what they have to pay regularly to, that what those fees are up front. And again, it's talking about rookie agent mistakes. This is where Kevin is going to save you on all of that. And he'll help you with your dates and deadlines. If you have something that's totally ridiculous, maybe an inspection resolution deadline, he's gonna fix that for you. He's gonna tell you to change it. Other rookie mistakes, don't stay up late writing a contract or writing an offer. Just communicate and tell them, we're going over final details with my clients. I certainly don't want to bother you with an offer at 9 o'clock at night. That agent doesn't want to work at 9 o'clock at night anyway. But plan on receiving something from me in the morning. And always, this can all be done in a text. A lot of agents I'm finding, they aren't answering their phone as much, but they'll answer a text. So try however you can to get a hold of them, to get them to acknowledge that they do see you're getting an offer from them, or they are receiving an offer from you. And I always put, please confirm receipt, whether it's an email, a text. There are some instances where you submit an offer, all of a sudden you see the property is under contract and it's been a couple days and you're like, hey, did you get my offer? Who's going to be mad at you? Your client. So make sure you are able to replicate, like, hey, I've been in communication with this agent. Sometimes it happens, they didn't respond to me. Here's what I sent and when I sent it. I'm super sorry, but they didn't get back to me. Let's see. Any other rookie mistakes you guys can think of, or maybe that you're worried about making? No?
Maybe not putting the correct exclusions.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Big one.
Okay. Okay. Back to our ahas. Oh, another rookie mistake. I just saw the note I made. Does everyone know about FIRPTA?
Say again?
FIRPTA. FIRPTA, F-I-R-P-T-A.
F-I.
No. Okay, let me read it to you. Hold on. Why can't I find it in my contract? Brandon, do you remember the FIRPTA? Regarding taxes?
Basically taxes for like people coming from foreign countries who have to pay like an extra tax if they're buying property here.
Yeah.
Yes. I wanted to read what it stood for and I can't find it anywhere in my contract for some reason. That's funny. Anyway, make sure your seller, a lot of the times the listing agent will state this up front if they are not a resident, but just double check. Because that is something that can fall on your buyer as a fee.
And they're not a resident of the US?
So I just say, does FERPTA apply? And, you know, they say yes or no. Oh geez, I'll have to find it in a second, as far as what it outlines. All right. Okay, does anyone, I need volunteers to role play being the listing agent and the buyer's agent. It'll be great.
What are we?
I
Is
want
it
you to
the
just, I want you to just role play having a conversation. You're the buyer's agent to a listing agent about preparing to send them an offer and what that would look like. And what kind of questions you're going to ask them on behalf of your buyer you're representing. So I'll be a listing agent if someone wants to be the buyer's agent. Don't all volunteer at
Volunteer at
once.
once. Fine, I will try. Probably not.
Who said
Okay,
that?
here we go. Wow, I don't know why I'm so here. Hey, we were gonna make an offer later this afternoon. Just wanted to touch base with you in regards to that offer. Is the property still available? I see on the MLS it's not pending. Just wanted to verify that to start off.
Yeah, that one's still active. We actually have a couple more showings set for this afternoon,
Awesome.
but
Awesome.
still active.
Awesome. That's wonderful. Are you still, hang on, let me rephrase that. This is where scripts come in handy, isn't it? 'Cause
Sometimes, but sometimes it's different.
yeah.
Every time.
One of the things we needed to include, is there going to be a post occupancy need?
No, they can close anytime really. They would prefer 30 days. You know, if you need longer, I could probably talk to them about that, but no post-closing occupancy.
Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome to hear. My sellers or my buyer is really ready to move. We've got all our paperwork. The pre-approval letter, I think you've already gotten. No, you wouldn't have gotten it yet. It was be with it.
Who are they working with? Are they working with a local lender?
Yes.
Okay, great.
So, trying to go through all the stuff that we heard yesterday. At any point, somebody can jump in here and give me a hint.
You're the best, Diane. Thanks for volunteering.
Any other offers on the table?
Say again?
Are there any other offers on the table?
Yeah. Do you
No
have
offers right now. I have a couple threats.
Okay.
I like to call them threats because, you know, people have said, oh, hey, you know, I'm going to be sending you an offer. But I, of course, don't have anything until I see it in my hot little hand. So.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, we're coming with our best offer, and hopefully you should have that within probably the next hour or so. Is there any other specifics that the seller is really looking for that we need to include in that offer?
They're just looking for, you know, not real nitpicky on inspections. 30-day close would be best.
Okay.
And you know, there's some firewood in the yard. They are not going to remove that. So hopefully that's okay with your buyers.
Yeah, I'll just verify that and make sure. I mean, hopefully that won't be a deal breaker at this point. The house was pretty clean. I think when we walked through, they were really, really excited about the properties. So, you know, thanks for taking some time this afternoon. Like I said, should have this over to you probably in the next hour or so.
Perfect, I appreciate it. And there's also a lead-based paint disclosure on that in case you didn't see it in the supplements. So we just want that up front as well. But otherwise, shoot me a text when you send it, just so I know that it's
Yes, I will.
not lost. Thank you so
Okay.
much, Diana. I appreciate it.
All right, thanks.
Yay, good job. That was really good.
She's always our voice.
Yeah. Diane's the brave one. Okay. Here we are, 24. Okay, so again, present the offer checklist.
Yeah.
Double check everything, make sure you have your documents signed that allow you to represent your buyer. I'm sorry, I'm just reading all the email summary. Some of these things. So you would add all your documents in Command when you're actually under contract. And just make sure, in order to have an opportunity, you have to add them as a contact first. And then once you go under contract is when you upload everything to Command.
Okay.
Oh, another thing I thought of when presenting an offer, you might see sometimes your buyer gets really excited and they're like, we have to see this property tomorrow. We love it so much. And they're a FHA buyer or a VA buyer. And the property, you notice, says cash or conventional. Always take a look at that. There's a reason that they put cash and conventional. Maybe the inside or something won't pass a VA or FHA inspection. Or it could just be the buyer just doesn't want to deal with the potential extra headache that comes with that financing. In this past market, it was usually that they just wanted cash or conventional. It wasn't anything that had to do really with the condition of the property. So if you can get a hold of that agent ahead of time, before you waste your time and your clients showing them a property that they're not going to even be able to offer on, just make sure you reach out to the agent ahead of time, like, hey, I have a VA buyer. Is that something that your seller would consider? I see you've been on the market for 30 days, so just wondered if things had changed. Because a lot of agents are busy and they don't go back and change things in the MLS, or they forget. And so just reach out to them if you can. Like I said, most people really respond to text.
But it should be stated on the MLS that that's what they.
But sometimes they forget to, yeah. So like if they've been on the market, well, I don't know, 60 days, do you think they're willing to take anything really? Especially if the financing, the list price supports that type of financing.
I would hope so. Truly hope so.
Right?
But you never know. I mean,
Yeah, everyone's different. Okay. Let's see. So now we're gonna switch over to receive and respond. So right, this whole time we've really been kind of acting as a buyer's agent. And as the listing agent, you have the responsibility to your client to present all offers in a timely manner and give them fiduciary advice on those offers. And so what I like to do when I receive an offer is send a text immediately to my sellers and just let them know that I do have one in hand. And then I ask them when they're able to get together and go over it in person or on the phone. Most of your people are going to be working, so you just want to be able, just give them a little heads up, because they're going to be wondering, they're going to be asking you all the time anyway. So do we have any showings, or what's the activity today? No offers yet. How did that showing go? And more than that, they'll get back to you pretty quickly. But if you can't get a hold of them at work or on the phone for any reason, just send a text right away so that they know there is one. Talk to them about the acceptance deadline, because it's usually 24 hours. Some agents are so funny and they want to give you like 6 hours. I've run into this a lot with agents in town who, I don't know, I don't know if it's the bully agent, but they want to force you into a decision quickly. And so when I see something like that, I just automatically call the agent and, you know, I apologize, we're not going to be able to make a 6 hour, you know, deadline. And again, what, hold on, Taylor was talking about in confidential information on the MLS, put that in there. Please allow at least 24-hour acceptance deadline.
Well,
And then, oh,
maybe that's because of just the way the market was. I mean, houses went up and off the market in 24 hours. Maybe now that the market doesn't do that, we'll see less of it.
mm-hmm,
Hope.
yeah,
Okay.
we could hope. We could hope.
We can hope. Okay.
Oh, it's funny. Let's see. Oh, yes. Also make sure you let the agent know that you received the offer. Just like that, please confirm receipt. You can also on CTM check a little box that notifies you when the agents opened it. So then, you know, for someone like, oh no, I didn't see it. You're like, oh, that's silly. Yes, you did. Don't lie. Lying's not nice. Let's see. If you do go over any offer with your client and they want to do it over the phone or over the computer, do not send them the contract through CTM. Send a PDF version because they can accidentally sign it. That's really bad for everyone involved. And if you don't have a very understanding agent on the other side, they can, nope, we're under contract, sorry. Okay, and you know, there could be things that you needed to change in that contract, or now if you don't submit earnest money.
So are you
Then-
saying submit a PDF of the offer first before you send it in
You're
the
gonna,
electronic contract system?
so from CTM, you can save as a PDF, and then you would send the PDF version to your client instead of just emailing them that contract through CTM, because they can accidentally sign it.
They being
The
seller or the buyer?
the seller.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, got it. So they don't sign it.
Yeah, so always send, if you're not gonna go over it in person. Yep, make sure you send it PDF only. Okay. Don't be afraid to reach out to that buyer's agent and say, hey, I saw this in the contract, just had a question for you. Would they, you know, maybe it's something like, would they be against, you know, closing earlier or later? You know, this is, I've received another offer, so I have the 2 in hand. I really like, you know, there's some strong things in your offer. The only thing that's holding them up is this closing date. You know, you can reach out to them and say, is there even a chance, right? Also call the lender, make sure it's someone who's gonna answer the phone, someone who's reputable. Are they local? Are they located in North Carolina? You know, are you only going to be able to get a hold of them Monday through Friday, maybe? And if they, oh, what's a good one? Rocket Mortgage. Oh my gosh, terrible, terrible to get a hold of. That nothing against them, but it's just true. So just make sure that lender is going to be responsive to you and that agent's going to be responsive to you. If you have an offer and you never hear from this agent again, that's kind of strange. You know, you would think it doesn't matter how busy they are, somebody needs to be able to communicate on their behalf. Any questions on this right now? What do you guys think timely manner means?
Say that again?
What does it mean? What does it mean to you to communicate with the other agent and your clients in a timely manner?
Well, we've talked a lot about setting expectations, and I would think timely manner is going to be different for different stages, right? Kind of like you just talked. You can't expect somebody to be timely at 6 hours when they've already told you, please allow us 24 hours to review, right? I think it depends. There we go. It depends on what it is.
Okay, so if you receive an offer, Diane, right now,
Uh-huh.
and you have an acceptance deadline of tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock, are you gonna let your clients know now, immediately, or tomorrow morning?
No,
Yeah.
no.
So sometimes, so, you know, it might be timely means immediately.
Yep.
To your client, but timely to that other agent is, you know, maybe a couple hours from now. Or
Yep.
say, I'm in a class, I saw your offer, I will get back to you, you know, at 4 o'clock or whatever.
It really just comes back to communicate.
Yeah, good. Okay. Seller net sheets. Does everyone know how to do that?
Not well, but yes.
Okay, so has anyone talked with, do you guys all have a title company that you plan on using? Have you talked to Laura Roberts?
Not yet.
Okay. I see a couple of you have.
Yeah, land title did a course in Arvada a couple of weeks ago. And she
Yeah,
went with
okay.
that. Also applied
Perfect.
to elective CE, so that was good too.
Oh, good, yeah. Yeah, take as much CE now as you can, because when you renew, it'll all be done. You know, you'll probably get all your CE out of your first year in real estate, because I think you need, what, 25 hours? But the net sheet, so Laura Roberts with Chicago Title, she is great about meeting with you guys one-on-one. She's always available. And she has a handy app called the Chicago One Agent app. And you can literally go through and create a net sheet right from that. So you can be at a property with your clients and you can plug in the numbers like, hey, is this even affordable for us? You can use it as a buyer's agent and a listing agent. So if you guys want to get in touch with her, she can set you up with that app, and it's very easy to, because you can text a snapshot to your clients.
What's the app's name again? Chicago One.
It is the Chicago One Agent app.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm. And does anyone need Laura's number or want it?
Sure.
Yes, please.
Okay,
Did you get this?
stand by real quick.
Let's see, it's in there.
720-648-3039.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Evergreen, Connor, yeah.
Me too, or no,
You can also use Command to help your seller understand their net price by using their seller worksheet. I have never done one in Command, so if you guys are all Command savvy and going to all the trainings there, you might like that platform too. It's kind of just what's easiest for you. Okay. So now that we've talked about the offer itself, we can fit it into the command structure. I tend to just use, like, if I have multiple offers, I use a spreadsheet in Excel that another lovely agent shared with me. I can send it to you guys if you'd like, but I've never done it through Command. So the only time I'm using Command, shh, don't tell anybody, is when I'm actually under contract, I'm creating an opportunity and I'm uploading all my documents. I know there's a way to communicate very closely with your clients through Command. It's just not something that I've implemented yet. I do it another way. But if you do want this multiple offer spreadsheet, I can email it to all of you. I'll email it to Jody and have her send it to you.
Okay, thank you.
Nice.
Is Command a pretty new thing then?
Let's see, how long have we been in Command world?
3 years.
I was gonna say 3 or 4 years.
It's just a lot.
Yeah, it is. Okay. Everyone can log on to Command, right? All of you guys? Okay. All right, so back to this lovely outline. So we've talked through your role in analyzing the offer as the listing agent. Now it's time to present it to your sellers. Says be ready for a deep conversation about the offer or offers you received. And that's really where it's going to help to, again, go to Kevin's class, because he literally outlines every section and tells you how to explain it to your clients. So just take all the notes you can, so that you can explain things like, you know, there might be something the buyer wants the seller to pay for an ILC, and that's that improvement location certificate. Well, do you, as the buyer's agent or the seller's agent, know what an ILC costs right now? Is that something that the seller is going to want to take on? How long is it taking to get an ILC done? Are they backed up like they were, you know, the last few years? So these are all things that matter, besides price. So when your seller's looking through the contract and he's like, oh, no, I just want to see the price. And no, there's way more to it than that. There's other costs that you could incur as the seller. So we need to come through a few other sections. So just make sure that you're savvy and able to explain those. If you like Zoom, you can also go through it on Zoom with your clients. It's a good idea. A lot of, like I said before, they'll ask you, is this reasonable? You know, why are they coming in 10,000 under? That's going to depend on you and your client, of course. Did they want to overprice it to begin with? Did you advise them against that and what that looks like? So you might have to reiterate, well, you know, well, I kind of showed you the value that I saw in the beginning, and seems like they're coming in at that value. They might say something like, oh, I love the house, but you know, your appliances are 30 years old, so we're taking 10,000 off the list price. You know, your seller's like, oh, well, I don't care, you know, no, I'm not gonna do it. It's like, that's fine, you don't have to, but you've had 3 showings in 6 weeks, and do we really want to lose this offer over $10,000? So that's, you know, maybe that looks like. It's true, it happens all the time. All right. So I think your next class is negotiation, so we don't have to go through that too much right now. But there's 3 options. You can either counter, accept, or reject the offer. It's always fun when they just accept it right away, and I've had that happen more often than not, because Kevin makes us look really good with his contract. So let's see. There. Any questions or concerns so far?
No.
Okay. Okay, multiple offer situations, the same goes for multiple offer. Perhaps the seller likes one offer best and it comes with a closing date that's sooner than they would like. You can always go back to that buyer's agent and see if they'd be willing to do a longer close. And of course, in a multiple offer situation, you can also call for the highest and best from all offers. So say you have 4 offers, they're all very, very similar. Don't be afraid to reach out to every agent, whether that's on the phone or in a mass email through the MLS or Broker Bay. Does Broker Bay do it? Showing Time used to do it. That you can say, you know, this is where we're at. We have 4 offers in hand. I need everyone to resubmit with your highest and best. Now, some people are really over that competitive aspect of things and they might drop out. So you have to just kind of warn your clients ahead of time. Like, this is what could happen. You could start with 4, we could wind up with only 2, right? It doesn't mean everyone still wants to play. So just make sure they're aware of that.
I can see where that might have been a great tactic in the old market. I don't know that that would go over well right now.
Yeah, I think it will anger people.
Yeah, I think you would probably get, you might start with 4 and get none. That would be my fear.
Yeah, so
Because
you just have to be careful.
Yeah.
For sure. I had a listing. In Berlin, we had decent showings, great open house activity. It was the first weekend. Got threats of offers coming in and I wound up with 1 in hand. And they came in a little under list price. And it was a very competitive weekend. There were several houses on the market in Berlin that weekend. And we just had to kind of be real with them. Like, things have changed. Things are changing already. We have 1 in hand. I didn't expect to get multiple offers to begin with. Yes, they're a little under asking. Here's your options. You can counter to full list. You can accept them here. You can meet them in the middle. And they chose to, I think we met them in the middle. So they countered back a little bit, but those other properties that were on the same weekend as us with the same open houses all had price reductions in the next couple of weeks. And so it was like, right when things started to really change.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, as with any deal, as you do as a new agent, you should be consulting your broker or coach. So Jody or Margaret. Is anyone here from Castle Rock right now? No? So Castle Rock coach. Okay. Oh, there's another role play opportunity, guys. Your favorite.
Figure it out, guys.
Oh my gosh.
What are we role playing this time?
You're supposed to role play the conversation templates. Do you guys have conversation templates?
Yeah.
Oh, good. I know that you do.
Which one would they like us to practice?
What,
I can pretend.
what, read one of them. What do they say?
There is 40, 50 pages worth of.
Oh, good grief.
So generally, at the very beginning of the section, there's a nice little area.
I'm almost there. I'll give you guys the page number.
Yeah, Mark does page numbers.
Yeah.
This all looks like.
I got that. I'm in the objection section. if I
Yeah, a
recall.
lot there in the transaction.
It's like present an offer to the seller. Is that?
Oh, yeah, that could be. Ooh, you want to do that one?
Sure.
Mark, pick a buddy. Preferably not Diane, she's already.
Mark, not your buddy right now.
It's around page 354.
What's the C number?
C32.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, recommend you, okay, I see it now. All right, cool. Bless
Are you
you.
guys gonna role play or no?
All right, we got any, what was it, one more person?
I said not Diane, you're always role playing, Diane.
Yes, that's true.
Should we put my in-person people on the spot?
If they have the script, I could pretend.
Okay. I guess what's the situation that you're looking at to script that you have in front of you?
Presenting a counter offer to the buyer agent.
Presenting it. Okay, yeah, do that.
Who am I going with, or just?
Sandy, she's here in person.
Hi.
Okay, good morning, Sandy. This is Mark Wilcoxon with Keller Williams Avenues, Iger Dream Properties. Thank you for your offer. We really appreciate the quick response. It was quite a bit lower than what the seller had hoped. I'm pausing to see if you're going to agree or not.
How do I respond to that?
I'll give you
So-
$5 if you actually do that in real life. Maybe
Click.
even,
Oh, Sandy hung up on you.
So abrupt.
So Sandy, the sellers would like to inform you that they have a reasonable counter offer that should work. The seller is countering back with a $50,000 reduction. The rest of the terms of the offer would be fine, except for the terms the sellers don't agree with, whatever that might be for your people. This is something that will work for everybody. Your buyer is getting a home within the market. The seller is selling at a reasonable price. We can all move forward to get this closed. Wouldn't you agree, Sandy?
Yes, we would like to.
Awesome.
I can have a meeting with my clients.
Yeah, don't ever speak for them. So I would always state that like, yeah, you know, that might work for them, but of course I can't speak, for them. I need to
Right.
get in touch with them and see what they're willing to do, but maybe we could find a happy medium. We'll certainly let you know.
We'll get back to you.
Yeah.
When I took the Renee negotiator class, they said to do hypotheticals so that you could brainstorm, but you have no commitments by doing a hypothetical scenario. Have you found that works?
Yeah, it depends on how it's presented, I guess. Sometimes that comes off. I don't
As
want to say,
aggressive.
yes. So I think you have to be careful in the way you present it. But I have had that done to me. Yeah, I didn't particularly care for that option. Or that
Yeah, I mean, the
tactic.
instructors seemed to love it. It was just like everything, what if, and it was just kind of like, I don't know if I want to go with that or not.
Yeah,
So
that's interesting. What else is on there to role play scenario wise?
well, we've got present a low offer to the seller, recommend that your client accept the offer, present an offer to the seller.
Okay.
And then we have a bunch of overcoming buyer reluctance conversations.
There's presenting a counter offer to a buyer agent. That ought to be fine.
Where did you find that one?
That's on
Oh, I got you.
C33.
Yeah, I got you.
So this listing agent is countering the buyer agent? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
How about, let's see. I want someone to go through explaining why their offer is under list price. So it's a 500,000 property, they're offering $475,000. Who wants to play?
So, I have a lot of this area. Trying to find the right word. It would be something to the effect of the property isn't at the same level as some of the other properties that are being sold in the area. The kitchen may be a little dated, more dated than we were expecting. And the location. The location right on Quebec is not the greatest.
Okay, what's some evidence behind you could talk about as to where you're coming from? You did a what?
Oh, I did
CMA.
a CMA, I did an analysis, did an inventory review. We
Okay.
looked at other properties in the area. These are the ones we saw. This is the great things about this property that the sellers really, or the buyers really like, but they feel that it might be a little overpriced given the market, the other properties, and its location.
Okay. Good.
Could you also say that, hey, we had our lender doesn't feel like they can cover, so it's not worth that, and kind of lay the blame on the lender? Or is that not a good idea?
No, I wouldn't.
Gotcha.
No, because if the lender can't do it, then why are you looking at that price of a home anyway?
Makes sense. Yeah, I mean, it's not charity.
Yeah. All right. How do you guys feel about all this? What any other concerns do you have or questions? Clear as mud, totally overwhelming?
Yeah, I like totally overwhelming. That works for me.
Okay. Kevin and Val like to use the drinking from a fire
Yes.
hose frequently. Do you feel confident in this yet, or maybe not? Maybe once you go through the contract itself?
Yeah, I think hands-on is gonna kick it in there.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I've only written a couple, but I mean, I think everybody should feel confident because they can go to their team lead or their coach before they submit an offer or submit a counter. And I mean, it will be right. You know, you'll know that when even in your first one, you should have that confidence that once Margaret or Charles or Bob or whoever has looked over it, that offer is going to be not going to see little nitnoid things that are incorrect or wrong, and it's going to look like a good offer, and you should be happy. You should be confident in that. We have a team.
That's right. Yeah, and KW is definitely the team mentality. And like I said, you guys are all more than welcome to call me. Like I've been there and it's way better. I had a few people who offered me help in the beginning, and I'm forever grateful for them. So really rely on the people who are willing to help you. Because there will be a time where you'll finally be getting business and then you're really gonna freak out. No, but you'll only freak out if you're not prepared. So use this time to get prepared, gain all the knowledge you can. It's not a waste. And take as many CE classes as you can, because even a lot of the experienced agents, veterans who've been around forever, it's like they've kind of, I don't know, fallen off the bandwagon of CE unless it's absolutely required. So, and things are changing all the time.
So I got my license on your birthday.
Yeah.
I don't have to have CE credits by December 31st, do I?
No,
Is it a annual anniversary that's on the day you get the license?
it used to be an even 3 years and now it's changed a little bit. So Val will be able to tell you when you renew. But I can't remember exactly what, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a little less than 3 years. But
So
before you leave here, you can ask her.
if we got some in before the end of this year, they'll still be good to carry on next year
Oh, yeah,
until
Mhm.
our due date.
yeah. Okay.
Oh, no, I have it.
You do
Yeah.
have this thing? Oh,
Yeah.
okay, I didn't know that.
Sorry, I'm trying to move this out of my view.
I just don't
again.
know how to do a split screen. That's what I'm trying to see.
We kind of talked about, ideas and mindset. What tools do you think are the best for you so far? If you don't have CTM, that's a big one to get.
I know, and I've heard mixed reviews on that, like maybe we should wait until we get a contract, but I would like to learn it, like you said, ahead of time.
Yeah,
Because if you gotta pay for it anyway.
I bought it right away and it's just a business expense,
Yeah,
so.
just jump into it.
Yeah, I mean, this is the business type of business, you have to spend some money to make money. So, it took me, I think it was 6 months before my first transaction. But when I had it, I had everything in order, and so it was a lot better.
Yeah.
And then that first year, I had enough expenses, it wasn't terrible come tax season, so in fact, I can't even remember owing very much. So your daily success systems, we'll talk on this real quickly, but I don't really feel like I need to keep you guys on here while you make your calls, and I think you know by now what you have to do. If you don't, let me know. But you're reaching out to your sphere, the people who are your cheerleaders, they're your support system, right? And that can look like phone calls, handwritten notes, again, the social media 10-5-1 aspect. Did everyone go to the social media class that Sally took? Do you understand the 10-5-1?
You mean the one that she taught on
Zoom.
Ignite?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay. So 10,
Might have been.
if you're
I've been
on,
to 3 of these, or
oh, okay.
I came midstream of Ignite, so I
Oh.
was completely lost for at least
Oh,
3 sessions.
yeah, that's okay. So real quick, 10-5-1, it's 10 likes or posts. So I'm typically on Facebook. I know there's, Instagram and all the things, but I do Facebook. So I'll go on there and like or love whatever 10 posts, engage in, am I saying this right? In 5. So you have a conversation or you're commenting on 5 of them, and then you're sharing either a real estate post or something that you're passionate about. It doesn't always have to be a real estate post. And, people want to get to know you. They want to know who you are, your personality. So maybe, if it's gardening, you're doing a funny meme about gardening, and
Is that per day?
per day. I know. Yep. I asked what does enrichments mean? Did they talk about enrichments elsewhere with you guys? Because it says it's at the end of each lesson in your participant guide. So whatever enrichments are listed there, you could be doing.
Is that like the ahas?
I don't know.
Yeah, kind of
It's on
funny.
page 55 is
Hmm.
one of them. And another, yeah. study your market center report, preview homes, take an MLS course, open houses, language of real estate, read the Millionaire Real Estate Agent.
Oh, okay. Any questions on the daily success system? Nope, it's pretty much your lead generation, right? Do any of you belong to any specific clubs or organizations? Like when my kids were small, I was in MOPS, it's Mothers of Preschoolers, and then I do a bunch with 4-H. And do you guys have anything like that? Like, can you sponsor things and get your face and name out there? That's another way to just be visible. Okay.
The historical society.
Mhm. And then just remember about the do not call list. So we're not angering people. Come from a place of contribution. I won't bore you with the role play. The next one. But right now, could you all come up with a list of 10 contacts to call?
I did that
Yep.
already.
Okay. All right. Oh man, it's only 11:20, but I don't know what else to talk to you about. If you want to, like I said in the beginning, we can go through some other stuff that maybe you really want to know about, maybe if it's on the MLS. I'm happy to help you guys if you want to hang out a little bit longer, but if you're like, nope, we're good and done, I understand that too.
What about the do not call list? How do you, is it
Um,
an app or
let's go back to that.
how do you know? I mean, how do you get on it?
Let me ask Val that one. She sent a text her. We'll see what she says. Here she comes. I told you she'd come.
Oh, that's nice.
I had no idea.
That's hilarious.
You know, I just gotta look it up. It's not something I memorize. And honestly, you can always get around that and not, it's what you're talking about on the phone. You know, and it's not selling services, it's how can I help you? You know, are you looking for anything, or is there any resource you need, that kind of thing, instead of, I can sell you a home, or I can sell my services to you, or
The
I
wording.
can.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's about solicitation in selling something versus providing help.
Right, or ask if they have a need.
Yeah, that's usually how
Yeah.
you get around it, if you end up starting with a phone call. I mean, yeah, you need it, but there's no way, I don't think that you could even go through a list
Yeah.
and try to scroll through to the person you're gonna call and try to make heads or tails of where they're at in that list, if they're even in the list. So I think it's about practices more than it is trying to find, you know, cause
Avoiding the
if-
ones that are on. the
Yeah,
list.
cause I mean, you could sit here and get a list, but.
The ones who are really
It's not
angry
really-
contact Valerie, and then Valerie sends us an email.
Well, I just say, please remove this person, and you
Yeah.
need to do it immediately, and you need to make sure that they're in your that they're in a contact that says, do not call, you know, or whatever, so it doesn't come up again and you call them again. Cause that happens too, right? You've forgotten 3 years from now, and this person's name comes up again, or the address comes up again. So again, it's about how we talk on the phone or how we present ourselves versus trying to keep track
Right.
of these people.
And they're on that forever until they take themselves off.
They're probably out forever. Just.
Fran, have you had
I
any
sign up to it every
like this too?
year.
What's that?
Have you had any complaints? Like, do you give a couple a year or is it pretty few and far between? Has it been an issue?
Oh, yeah. We've got one that has a lawsuit going on.
Oh,
So it can be huge, and I think it's just, again, being careful about your conversation.
A lawsuit with a specific individual or with the office?
Yeah, here in this office.
Oh my.
Hey, look, the camera's looking at the wall.
Oh. I don't know.
Anyway, so, yeah, we got a lawsuit going on. It had to do with, I believe a postcard or a newsletter or something that went to them. They indicated that they told this individual, they indicated that they called the office. They called the office. I remember the phone call, but it was generic. I sent it to the employing brokers that you guys have to support you are fabulous. And you should always go to them immediately. Anytime something arises, they will help you through this. You know, we're not the do not call list police. You know, and we go, okay, I'm sorry, you know, I won't do it again. I'm not trying to offend you. I'm not trying to, you know, go against. I was actually just hoping I can help you in any way. That's all. You know, I like to help my community. And that's the way you usually approach it. So, but yeah. That's daunting to try to figure out who's on the list, to be honest.
Yeah.
It could be hundreds of thousands of names. So.
While you're here, do you know who's covering Trello, and can it go to the Arvada office? Rachel
Arvada
was-
has a Trello account.
Okay.
I just don't know that they've used it at a high level. So I would talk to Elizabeth about that.
I think the question more was how you were using it and how or what processes you were using it for.
So if you were, I think I brought it up regarding inspectors. If you don't have an inspector, you can go to Trello. If you need a concrete guy or a septic company, you can go to Trello.
It's
Got
like our own little pre-made approved vendors that we like to use. And if somebody goes out of business, we try to remove that name. And if multiple brokers have used an inspector they love, you guys can all comment on it, and then we can go through that list and go, oh, okay, everyone loves this person, you know, or I've got a name to add to it or whatever. So that way you're not having to go out on Google and try to find someone that you absolutely don't know, and you don't know whether you trust them and that kind of thing. So that's
Okay.
why
I got it. Okay,
like
thank
an
you.
old time Rolodex.
Not a problem.
Cool.
I understand what you're using
Thank
it for. now.
you.
Yep.
All right, anything else I know you are disciplined and dedicated individuals. You can
Oh,
make
yes.
your calls on your own. I do not have to sit here and and have you check back in with me, but is there anything else? It could be anything. It could be something that does not pertain to today's Ignite at all. If it's just a newbie question and you want help, I can help you with that.
Well, Becky pointed out that I needed some specific things if I were to, which I already did, unfortunately, print door knockers and my cards.
Oh, that happens.
So
Don't worry about it.
I'm like, dang it.
国際美術館では
所蔵の
Oh, that was fun. So if you do a mailer, it does have to be postmarked. Usually if you use some kind of company, but if you're doing like an introduction letter and you just stick them in mailboxes like, hey, this is who I am, I live in your neighborhood, you can get in trouble for that because it's not postmarked.
Yeah.
And you also have to have language on there regarding, did you do this, Becky? Oh.
Like
Whoops,
the little house.
shoot.
Yeah, the little house thing and is it the realtor circle you have to have on there?
Oh, like a National Association of Realtors insignia, and then, I thought Jody sent out this email to all of you
She
guys.
probably did, and I texted her when I was ready to go print, and she texted me a list of things.
Okay,
Unfortunately, that wasn't on there.
I'll add this to my
I'm like,
list.
can I, could I make little stickers and put it on there, or is that not allowed? Just to make them right for now, or do I just go back to the printer and say, I did this wrong, I need to reprint?
I wonder if you could add a sticker. You mean they're already printed and you want
Yeah.
to not waste all that money?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Sandy, what did you leave off of the door knocker?
Well, it's like the logo, the little,
Yes.
it's really tiny. If you look at some of the people who already have cards made, it's like a little realtor sign in a little circle in like a house.
Yeah.
It's the fair housing thing.
Yeah, is that what it is? I don't know.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I didn't know. Not
Okay.
on mine.
Where am I on here? If I stand here, can you guys see me?
Nope.
No.
Nope. Okay, I'll come back to my desk. So it's this little postcard, right? You do a
Yeah.
mailer. At the bottom, it says, if your property is currently listed with a broker, please disregard this notice. It is not our intention to solicit the listings of other brokers. So again, it's just a CYA thing. But if you use a company specific to real estate, then they'll have that information on there. Did you go with somebody like that, Sandy? You don't know?
It was, gosh, I forget. My daughter actually helped me with it. It was a well-known,
Kinko's?
no, it was something she did online. I think the other Taylor said,
Vistaprint?
no, the other Taylor said she.
Canva?
Yeah, Canva.
Market dwelling.
I did Canva. Unfortunately,
Okay.
it wasn't caught.
Yeah, and you typically have to have the KW, can you guys
Yes.
see, logo?
And does that all need to be together, like under that KW, it says something? Like mine was spread out on my card, my daughter separated it.
It's okay, yeah, as long as it's there.
Okay.
Mhm. Anything else? Any questions? So you can't say, oh, we want Bree to teach Ignite because she's done in 2.5 hours.
We can't?
No.
We do want you to teach.
Well, we have to get out there and start beating the streets, so
Yep.
it is a good thing.
I have a question, but it can
Okay.
wait till after, because it's about infrastructure here.
Oh, well, other people might not know. If you guys, you can stick around or you can move on with your day if you want, but we're just gonna answer questions here if I can.
Thank you.
All
You're
right.
welcome. You
Bye.
guys, it was nice meeting you all.
Thank
You
you.
This is simple. Where's the printer? Because Lauren said she needed to come here with me to set up my iPad to print, but I just followed the directions on Google and it looks like it's gonna print. So if I send this to the printer, where would I check?
Around this wall,
This go this way?
either way, it's like a little horseshoe and you'll see it there next to all the mailboxes for the agents. So you have it selected as conifer.
Whatever, it says, it identified a printer by an indescribable name, and we'll see if it can work.
Okay.
Yeah, hopefully. So if I were to be at home during one of these Zooms and I wanted to pull up the, the booklet or whatever from my stuff.